The clinking of cutlery and hum of chatter filled the small diner as the young black waitress, Clara, hurried between tables. She had always been quick on her feet, balancing trays with a grace that came from years of practice. This day was no different, until a man, unassuming yet familiar, walked in. Clara's heart skipped a beat as she recognized him. Elon Musk, the tech billionaire. His presence in such a modest establishment was as surprising as the warm smile he gave her. Clara greeted Elon with her signature smile, masking the nervousness bubbling beneath the surface. "Welcome. What can I get you today?" she asked. Elon chuckled softly, glancing at the menu. "I'll have whatever you recommend," he said, his tone easygoing. As she brought his coffee and pie, a man at the next table began hurling disparaging comments about Clara's service. Elon's face darkened. Without hesitation, he stood and calmly but firmly defended her, silencing the rude patron. Clara's eyes filled with gratitude, but she knew this encounter would not go unnoticed by her manager, who was already glaring from behind the counter. The manager, a stern-faced man named Mr. Jenkins, stormed over as Elon returned to his seat. "Clara in my office." "Now," he barked. Clara hesitated, glancing nervously at Elon, who gave her an encouraging nod. Inside the cramped office, Mr. Jenkins berated her for causing a scene and told her she was fired. Tears welled up in her eyes, but she held her head high. Little did she know, Elon overheard everything through the thin walls. As she exited the office, she found him waiting, his expression filled with resolve. Elon stood up and gently stopped Clara as she prepared to leave the diner for the last time. "Wait," he said, his voice steady but kind. "What just happened is unacceptable. You don't deserve this." Clara, too stunned to speak, wiped her tears as Elon handed her his business card. "Reach out to me tomorrow. I think we can turn this around," he said. Clara hesitated but eventually took the card, her heart pounding. As she stepped outside into the crisp evening air, she felt a strange mix of fear and hope. Clara spent the night staring at the business card, her emotions swinging between skepticism and curiosity. Could Elon Musk really help her? She was a single mother with bills piling up and no time to indulge in fantasies. But something about his sincerity lingered in her mind. She resolved to call him in the morning, even if just to thank him for standing up for her. As she drifted off to sleep, Clara couldn't shake the feeling that her life was about to change. The next morning, Clara nervously dialed the number on the card. After a few rings, Elon's calm voice answered. "Hello, Clara. I was hoping you'd call," he said, as if he had been expecting her. He invited her to meet him at a nearby office building to discuss an opportunity. Clara hesitated but agreed, her curiosity outweighing her doubts. She spent the morning preparing, telling her young son she had an important meeting, and left with a cautious optimism. Clara arrived at the towering office building, her heart racing as she stepped into the polished lobby. Elon greeted her personally, dressed casually but exuding an aura of confidence and warmth. He led her into a sleek conference room, offering her a seat. "I've seen how people like you, hardworking, kind, and resilient, often get overlooked or mistreated," Elon began. "I want to offer you a position in one of my community outreach programs. Your skills and determination would make a huge difference." Clara was speechless, tears brimming as she nodded gratefully. The next few days were a whirlwind for Clara. Elon's team helped her transition into her new role as a community coordinator for underprivileged youth, a position she never imagined for herself. Her first day at work was surreal. She found herself not just respected but valued, with colleagues who admired her resilience. Clara's son beamed with pride when she told him about her new job, and for the first time in years, she felt like her life had a clear direction. Clara's story began to spread among her colleagues, inspiring others to share their own struggles and triumphs. Elon took notice and invited her to a company-wide event where he shared her story publicly, emphasizing the importance of kindness and resilience in adversity. Clara was overwhelmed by the standing ovation she received, but more importantly, she felt a sense of belonging she had never known before. Elon's words resonated with everyone in the room, proving that even small acts of kindness could change lives. One evening, Clara returned home to find a brand new car parked in her driveway, a sleek electric model with a note on the windshield. For all the miles you've walked to make others' lives better. Elon. She couldn't believe her eyes. Overwhelmed, she broke down in tears, realizing that her hard work and integrity had not only been recognized but deeply appreciated. Her son hugged her tightly, whispering, "Mom, you're amazing." For Clara, it wasn't just a gift, it was a symbol of a brighter future. Clara carefully tucked the handwritten note into a small box where she kept her most cherished possessions. The car was a blessing, but the words on that note meant everything. She drove to work the next day with her son in tow, smiling as she dropped him off at school in their new car. At work, her colleagues greeted her with cheers, having heard about Elon's gesture. Clara felt like she was living in a dream, a world where kindness and perseverance truly paid off. As Clara settled into her new role, she realized her work extended far beyond the office. Elon encouraged her to visit struggling neighborhoods and connect with people facing challenges similar to her own. On one such visit, Clara spoke to a group of single mothers, sharing her story. "You don't have to be extraordinary to change your life," she said. "Sometimes, all it takes is one act of courage and someone who believes in you." Her words sparked hope, and many began to see her as a symbol of resilience and change. News of Clara's journey began to spread. Local media picked up her story, dubbing her the waitress who inspired Elon Musk. Invitations for interviews and events started pouring in. Though overwhelmed, Clara took each opportunity to advocate for the underprivileged, crediting her success to Elon's support. "He didn't just help me," she said in one interview. "He gave me the chance to help others." Elon, watching the broadcast, smiled, proud of how far she had come. Clara's efforts eventually caught the attention of national organizations. She was invited to a prestigious awards ceremony honoring individuals who had made significant contributions to their communities. On the night of the event, Clara stood on stage, tears in her eyes as she accepted her award. In her speech, she thanked Elon for believing in her when no one else did. "This isn't just my story," she said. "It's proof that one act of kindness can change the world." Years passed, and Clara's life continued to flourish. She had become an influential figure in her community, her efforts to uplift others growing with each passing year. One day, while visiting a local school she had helped fund, Clara was greeted by a group of young students who recognized her as the woman who had changed their lives. They had learned from her not just how to succeed, but how to give back. "You taught us that kindness is the greatest form of wealth," one of the students said. As Clara looked at the faces around her, she thought back to that pivotal moment in the diner. She thought of Elon, who had seen potential in her when no one else did. In that moment, she realized that her journey was far from just her own. It had sparked a chain of kindness, reaching further than she had ever imagined.